After years of disconnect between the Israeli and the Jordanian leadership during Netanyahu's premiership, yesterday it was revealed that Israeli President Isaac Herzog traveled to Jordan for a meeting with King Abdullah in the last line of warming ties between the countries. That's after, in July, Prime Minister Naftali Bennett met with Abdullah in secret in Amman. Herzog, who said that he plans to meet with other heads of state in the region, congratulated the king and said he's an important leader in the region. We're now joined in studio by Yossi Beilin. He's a former justice minister and, of course, one of the initiators and orchestrators of the Oslo Accords back in the 90s. Thank you very much for coming into our studio
today. Thank you for inviting me.
Israel is going through a period of reconciliation, it seems, with the Arab world these days. How necessary is it?
It's very necessary. I mean, we have peace with Egypt and Jordan, and eventually what happened in the years of Netanyahu is that it remained only security. I mean, on the security level, the things were not bad, including with the Palestinians. But that's all. And it means that you stand on one leg. And what happened in the last weeks is that there is a proactive policy of the new government to tighten the relations with our neighbors, which is, in my view, very, very important. So this was part of it. I mean, you have here some people who are on the front line. And it's the prime minister, of course, the foreign minister, the defense minister, and the president. I mean, these are the people who go out, who speak, who are known to the world and to the Arab world. And so the idea that only Bibi could do something is exposed as just a propaganda. I mean, in reality, these people are knowledgeable and they are doing a job which is better.
Let's talk about the intentions of Naftali Bennett as far as you can assess them, because we heard Yair Lapid speaking to the foreign press just a few days ago, and he told them, I want the two-state solution, and we are negotiating also with other countries in the Arab world. On the other hand, Bennett is politically chained in many ways and says that not in his shift, that it will not happen in his shift.
Yeah, he told...
So what is going to happen? What can we assume might happen under Bennett's premiership?
It depends on many, many other variables. It is not only Bennett who would decide what exactly will happen. Of course, he is a very important player, but not the only one. And his interview in the New York Times with his three no's, no recognition, no negotiations, and no peace with the Palestinians, was, I believe, a kind of a statement to his own people, you know, I'm with you. I'm still the old Bennett. Don't be misled. But in reality, something is happening. And this is the change. The question is not necessarily what are the talking points of the Israeli leaders. I can assume that they are telling their counterparts, their interlocutors, well, we are a special government and we have to respect each other's ideology. And you know that with Bennett it will be very difficult to proceed towards a solution. But the question is, what are they telling us? The meeting with King Abdullah, what was important was to understand what are his intentions. And the same will go with President Assisi in the near future when Bennett meets with him. And so it is with other leaders, with Abu Mazen, with the Palestinian president and the King of Morocco. And I believe that the message is more or less the same. Don't think that you can have economic peace. This is an old song which was sung by others. What is important is that you solve the problem with the Palestinians. Whether we like them, they say, or not, they say, but our public is cannot accept it. You know, I remember a long discussion with King Abdullah II, and he told me, Yossi, you know, the problem is that any Palestinian who is killed in Palestine, in the West Bank, is an opening of a mourning arbor in Jordan. So the thought that you can have full peace with us and without solving the Palestinian issue is wrong. And I presume that he repeats this kind of message to the current leaders of Israel, and they have to listen.
So assuming these are the kind of messages that Bennett will hear also from Sisi and probably heard from King Abdullah, as you said, let's look at the prospect of Saudi Arabia. During the Abraham Accords, it seemed like Saudi Arabia was extremely close to perhaps signing a similar deal with Israel, putting the Palestinian issue aside, and then they wanted to see probably what the next leadership in Israel would be. Do you think, or do you know if there are negotiations going on with Saudi Arabia at the moment?
No, there are no, to the best of my knowledge, there is no negotiations are going on. There are always contacts, always, but it's not negotiations. And here the main key is the United States. I mean, if the Saudi leadership understands that eventually President Biden will be ready to normalize relations with Saudi Arabia, and that one of his demands is for Saudi Arabia to normalize relations with Israel, then there is a chance. I don't think that out of the blue they will get up in the morning and say, okay, we join our neighbors of the Abraham Accords. This will not happen. And they are an important player for sure.
One last question, and briefly, because we don't have much time, regarding Gaza. Israel is taking significant steps and has taken significant steps last week, also due to Hamas's pressure. It's extended the fishing zone, it opened the crossings for more trade. What more should Israel do and can do right now to better the relations also with the population in Gaza and show goodwill?
I must admit that I hate the situation there and the need to somehow pay a price, a high price for silence. What we are seeing now every evening, what they are doing with the balloons and whatever, is, in my view, is intolerable. And I think that they will have to understand, and you may be surprised that I'm saying it, that either they are ready to somehow find a way to live together side by side without peace, because they are not ready for peace with us, or that Israel says enough is enough. Okay. And I think that we are quite close to this moment.